welcome to the Live from the Pen podcast, hosted by Smoke D, who was featured on U.G.K's Riding Dirty album. This ain't just a podcast, it's a movement. Live from the Pen is where the unheard get heard, where the forgotten get remembered, and where change starts with a conversation. We bring you stories from behind the walls, stories of pain, purpose, progress, and power. We're talking about men and women fighting to rebuild their lives, families trying to hold it together, and communities pushing for something better. This is an interactive prison reform platform, a place where you'll hear real voices, see real growth, and feel what redemption truly sounds like. No filters, no fake narratives. Just raw truth and the realities of incarceration, transformation, and survival. We're breaking the silence, we're breaking the stigma, and we're building bridges from the cell block to society. So tap in, stay locked with us, and be part of the change. Because when we say live from the pen, we mean living proof that progress is possible, that redemption is real, and that every voice, no matter where it's coming from, deserves to be heard. For more Trill content, hit us up at trilllife7613.com and join the Trill Life community, where truth, unity, and progress always stay true. Now reporting live from the pen, your host, Smoke D.
Live from the pen once again, like before. It's your boy, Smoke D. Representing Trill Life, representing U.G.K for life. Today we have two special guests that are my brothers. But before we go any further, I'd like for the good engineer to post up the word for the day. Every segment, we're going to try to have a word for the day just so you can take something with you than just watching the show and hearing people talk. Today's word is glib, G-L-I-B. And if I'm not mistaken, it means a smooth, slick talker. Glib, G-L-I-B. That's the word for the day. We'll get back to it. Hopefully y'all didn't know it and you learned something. That's the whole point. But anyway, moving on. I got two brothers here that they just don't talk the talk. They walk the walk. And I guess what I mean by that, they've built infrastructures around their visions, their ideas, and are quite successful at it, you know. So I would like for these brothers to introduce themselves to the people out there that don't know them. I know them personally, but you guys don't. So, you know, whoever wants to take the turn first, introduce yourself and tell the people who you are and what your organization does.
I'm Ron Collier. I am out of Meridian. I am the chief executive officer of a robust nonprofit, multi-county. We do a plethora of things, including rental assistance. We're doing an apartment project now for seniors. We do food programs, foster grandparents, working with kids. We have a mentoring group for young men. So, you know, we're staying busy on top of my having the privilege of moving around and speaking in different places here and there.
Yes, sir. Bro.
All right, I'm Dave Geary. They call me L.A. Dave. Had a background in TV, Channel 16, Channel 12 in Jackson, Fox 5 in Atlanta. I deal with housing. I'm actually a hemp farmer, Cashmere Farms. And then now I'm working on a micro community, doing a development right now. And I'm also a U.S. veteran, Army veteran.
Okay. Yeah, man, that's dynamic and that's dope. Brother Ron.
Yes, sir.
What are some of the, I can say, what inspired you to start an organization? Was it, you know, did you feel like it was purposeful? Were you starting a movement? What inspired you to start doing what you're doing?
Actually, this particular organization I didn't start. Multi-County is over 60, or will be 60 years old in October. But in my professional career, I went from being in professional sales to becoming homeless. Simple as that. And so from being homeless, changed the real flow of direction. God gave me new energy to do new things, and here I am.
All right, man. So that seems like, you know, for you to get this thing started and successful, you started from a real hard place, or get it out the mud place, so to speak. What were some of the things, the hardships you went through to get from a place where you were being homeless up until now being able to put people in homes? You know, that's,
Well, I think for me, Smoke, having grown up in communities, certainly communities of color in Alabama, seeing domestic violence, having the privilege to actually go to college, getting out of college with no real focus on what I wanted to do, being impressionable, and things will catch up with you, you know. And so in my moving here and there around the country, ended up in North Carolina, your past will catch up with your future if you understand what I mean. And so you know, we live some hard lessons, and then we have to pay the price. So sometimes we can get back, sometimes we don't. By the grace of God, I realized that I was going to do more than just be on the streets, not be productive. And so all my tenacity, my anger that I had built in me was the catalyst for me actually going back to college, because I was working. I was homeless and had a full-time job. My wife and I split up. She got the house, I got the street, and went forward. Had some breaks along the way, stayed in the Sam's Club break room. That was my primary living residence at one point. My people didn't even know that. But as I moved back to mainstream, went back to school, finished another degree, and someone hired me, someone who had seen my journey, hired me to be a program manager at a nonprofit, and the rest is history.
Rest is history. You over what, 9 counties?
Well, we have 9 counties that we have offices in, and then we have 22 total counties that we do work in.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So how long has this 501c3 been up and running?
Since October 1966. So
man, like a dog.
Yeah, it's been grinding for a long time. When I came here, and it's been about 10 years, a little over 10 years, it was at a crossroads or an impasse. My history has been fixing broken things, not only me, but the nonprofit was struggling somewhat. They hired me to come in. I was told I had 6 months from the funders to put things back on track, and you know, almost 11 years later, here we are.
Man, tastes just like fried chicken, man. I can't eat it no more. Brother Dave.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about the hemp industry, the pros and cons. Give us a quick rundown about, you know, and with you being one of the largest farmers in the state. Give us the, you know.
It's rough just because a lot of laws have changed now. The prices dropped in the middle of flow. I put 150 grand into it. Just letting you know.
Wow.
And in the middle of that, prices dropped. So when it came time to harvest and get rid of product, prices had dropped tremendously. So what I did was, my wife and I actually really hurt. Came up with 14 different recipes, and we came up with drinks, seasonings, tea cakes, 2 flavors, popcorn, we call it hemp corn. And so that was keeping us afloat, and we were building the brand, which is Cashmere Delights. And then these new laws came in November and December, so it made it hard to have a place where the laws prevented consumable hemp products. And then the one in December stopped vapes. So then as a raw material, I had no place to take it right now. So it's making it difficult. And then it's hard to keep work.
With you being a black farmer, is it some of the same things that we've dealt with, you know, in the olden times about, you know, not getting a fair shake? Is it that kind of thing, or is it just a general thing where they just changed the laws? Because that probably, you know, left you stuck.
So you about to make my PTSD kick in now.
Oh Lord, I got it too, so we don't need to be too.
Well, an incident with me planted, and then hurricane came.
Oh wow!
And so it was that year was record rain and record heat, and so the crops didn't produce like they should have. Right. So say for instance, normally we're trying to get a pound of plant. So when the weathers go, you're lucky to get 3 ounces on a plant. right? So then when it came down, when the USDA Farm Service Agency provided money to help the farmers out, they valued my crop as nothing. What I mean by nothing, I'm talking to like $2.85 a pound. You can't even get grapes for that. So that was unfair shake, yeah, because I went to 2 appeals, getting ready to go to the 3rd appeal, and just tired. So, that has been the issue.
So you're going through a constant struggle right now with them, even with you doing other things on the land?
Right now.
So let me ask you this. How did the policies change the dynamics of what you were doing? What did they implement?
So I can still grow because I'm a USDA licensed hemp farmer.
Right.
So it didn't mess with that. But the part where it's becoming the consumable products. So on the state level, actually Alabama and Mississippi came up with the law at the same time. So that's what prevented things. So what we call in farming, we call that added value products.
Okay.
And so if you're raising bees and you're bottling honey, that's a value added product, to give you an example.
Right.
So now you sit on 3,000 pounds of hemp, and you're like, okay, what am I gonna do with it? I was sell it to this guy who made vapes. Well, you can't do that here.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to figure it out. But to be honest with you, it has really just the course of it. Because then on the USDA side, it was new here in Mississippi. So a lot of the programs or the backing of the funding was not in place to support the hemp farmers like how they do corn or the other farmers. Right. So from that side, it has been difficult.
Well, historically speaking, Smoke and Dave, farming for Black people have been perilous at best. I certainly have done a lot of work around Black farmers movement with John Boyd. I don't know if you know the name John Boyd, but
that's
John Boyd sued.
Yeah,
that's right.
The one that,
yeah, it's interesting that you bring it up, but here under the Biden administration, they had the lawsuit for minority farmers. They just didn't call it Black farmers because they were trying to be able to not have as much pushback. But the white farmers actually sued because they said they were being discriminated against, although they have gotten the vast majority of monies from USDA. So, with the laws and the things that occur, and I may sound like I'm speaking out of my realm, but for me having actually ran a program for farmers here through my agency in North Carolina. So I was going out, bringing in people to moderate meetings and then getting people to fill out the applications so that they could actually get funded for those disparaging days that older farmers didn't get money from farm service agencies. And I had one lady in the show, but she got over $200,000. So it's it's still money in the pipeline, but like Dave said, when they see us as a people start to use these funds and fluid with it, they change the game in the middle of the stream. And we see that in America right now in a whole different sphere, not only farming.
It's funny that you brought that up through my friend McAfee. I talked to Mr. Pickford about 2 or 3 months ago, and he got money from the settlement,
right?
But he's just about homeless right now.
Right.
Everybody else got paid, but it was interesting to be able to talk to such an historical figure, and he's in North Carolina.
Yeah, because he wasn't. He hadn't been groomed to look at the finances of it all and to make the money work for him. I think in some instances he was taken advantage of.
I think he was big time taken advantage of.
Well, man, we're going to take a few minutes to go to commercial break. Y'all stay tuned. Live from the pen. We'll be right back shortly. Does he have it on? What's up, Lisa? What's up, Amir? What's up, bro? What's up, Mayberry? What's up, Larry? How you doing, bro?
Garrett Wholesale Tires and Trucking Company. We hit the ground running and leave the rest behind. Get moving with Garrett today. At Garrett Tire and Truck Company, we carry the top tire brands in the industry. Truck tires, commercial tires, passenger tires, all at wholesale prices. Whether you run one vehicle or an entire fleet, we keep you rolling longer with durability, performance, and unbeatable value. Why pay retail when you can buy wholesale? Garrett Wholesale Tires and Trucking Company. Top brands, wholesale prices, built for the road.
Thursday at 6:30, live from the pen. We building the plane in the air. We got some good brothers on here this evening. Okay, we back. Brother Ron, I posed that same question to you as it pertains to the 501c3s. How, with the Brett Favre situation and all of the pilfering, let's just put it that way for lack of a better phrase, how did those policies they changed affect the 501c3s and yours in particular?
Well, I really didn't come to talk about Brett Favre, or
Right.
I didn't come to talk about what I do at the state, but I did come to talk about the what's happening now is we have to open our eyes and see from a large perspective, a greater look at not only Mississippi but in America, because we look at right now people. One of my things is people who don't vote, and so we look at these midterm elections. They talking about canceling them. So how do we move from where we are in the policies that may be affecting us to finding a way to work together to keep from having these issues that beset us day in and day out, because it's a lot of I'm just say pilfering taking place, and it's bigger than just Mississippi. It's international. It is certainly national, but it's international, and that's why we see all these issues with. They don't want to talk about Epstein.
Oh,
Yeah, because it's bigger than just pedophilia. It's bigger than, and I'm not trying to minimize the young ladies who were taken advantage of,
right.
not only in America but in other countries as well.
Do you, speaking of the Epstein situation, do you see that as a large distraction or a nail in the coffin or both?
I see it as not a distraction. I see it as a necessary evil that has to be exercised. And then the things that you see going on around it are actually things to distract. Smoke. My whole thing is like about sounding the alarm regarding the elections, the ICE being in all these different places, because
right.
what I see from my vantage point is that this is just like boot camp for election season. What's happening in Minneapolis, what is happening in DC, what is happening in Los Angeles is a boot camp for them going into all the cities that they feel like won't vote Republican and taking them over so that they can contaminate the vote count. So this thing is bigger than just.
So that's what they send the martial law, the armed forces to all Democratic states.
That's right, yeah. Absolutely.
So they won't be here in Mississippi, but they'll be over there in Memphis.
They might, because see, this is what you must understand. Mississippi just had 3 seats that went to Democrats in these last midterm elections. That's somewhat alarming, because normally in this state you're not seeing many people voting in mass like that. Right. So that's an alarm that's been sounded, and we talk about all this stuff, but there's a law right now in the state legislature called the Glacier Law. And it's about ICE. It's where ICE does whatever it may come into this state and do, and they be reimbursed, or whatever someone from this state does on behalf of ICE, they can figure out how to reimburse them. That's the kind of like the 1.0 version of the Glacier Act. So, you know, what I want to talk about has nothing to do with what I do every day. It has everything to do with what's going on. You know, Smoke, let me take you to school for a moment.
Come on.
William H. Cooper, he was a naval intelligence agent.
Mm-hmm.
He was a spy for the United States government. In 1996 or 95, he wrote a book called Behold the Pale Horse.
I know that book.
And Behold the Pale Horse talks about that particular book, talks about what's occurring now. What did he say? He said, before I am killed, he said, I want to get my truth out. He said, because one truth can dispel a multitude of lies.
Right.
And in that book, he talked about building these large camps where they could hold citizens. That they're not trying to hold immigrants. Immigrants are just the practice field.
Right.
And so, you know, they talked about in Behold the Pale Horse, how it will come a day and will come a time where America will start to lock up its own citizens. We at that day right now, Smoke. And so what we're talking about this evening is far bigger than some money that got missing from the SNAP.
Right. And indeed.
You know, when we begin to look at all that's going on, and we talk about prison, we talk about the 13th Amendment. You know, 60% of the people in prison in Mississippi look like me and you. Most of them are in there for something that was minimal, that shouldn't have been punished with prison time. The 13th Amendment tells us that, you know, it abolished slavery unless of a crime.
You get locked up.
That's right. And
so let me touch on that a little bit, bro. Ron. I don't think that they've had a congressional session. I don't know. It's been well over 100 years. I don't know how far, but it's been over 100 years. And for me, sitting where I'm sitting, and, you know, I've been in the fight here a little bit, not as much as you or you know, predecessor Corey, but I'm new to it. And what I see that could solve the problem is having a congressional session to where they can make some real amendments to the Constitution, like that 13th Amendment, to where it won't incentivize the private prisons. They in a lawsuit now with the government because America's police can't lock up enough black folk for them to earn their money. And so, like, you know, things like that would de-incentivize, if that's a word, you know, them putting us in prison.
This is the thing, though, Smoke. Why de-incentivize something that's not really affecting you?
It's working.
It's working for them.
Bro.
And so why have a constitutional Congress that changes the Constitution or amend it or remove certain parameters if it don't affect me?
Right.
That it allows me
I'm doing it on purpose, so why would I want to?
Because I'm making money off of it. So when we begin to look at the total overlay of what's occurring, we have to begin to talk about this stuff as a people,
right?
And then see, how do we work together? Black people have the 15th largest economy in the world.
In the whole world.
In the world. We worth $1.6 trillion, 1.9 trillion according to who's doing the counting.
Right.
But we spend $30 billion a year on pocketbooks and hair.
Yeah.
So pocketbooks and hair, not tennis shoes. Pocketbooks and hair. And that's okay if that's what you want. But the point I'm making is that if we took 10% of the money that we spend on pocketbooks and hair.
It sounds like a song. Pocketbooks and hair.
We would start to be able to energize ourselves in America. Only 2% of the money that is spent that black people make in America is spent with black businesses. 2%. 2% of $1.6 trillion.
So they got all of their money and most of our money.
Exactly.
Well, really, all our money.
You know how long a dollar stays in the African American community? 6 hours.
Stop.
6 hours.
Stop it.
6 hours. But see, if I don't have any infrastructure in my community, to be able to go in and buy the things I need, then it's going to lead. So when I began to look at all that is going on in America and talking about everything that's happening to us, then when do we take ownership for some of it and change the dynamics at play? But this is one thing I see a lot, is that we are not the culprits, but we are like the drivers, the driver during slave days, of the madness that take place in our communities. Because in many cases, the people who are heavy-handed toward us look like us.
Why do you think that is, bro?
They have been groomed. And so if you're groomed long enough, you do it with no intent of malice. You do it because somebody has taught you that it's the right way to do it.
And if you're doing something wrong and you believe it's right, you're very dangerous.
That's right.
That's trick.
That's right.
That's very, very dangerous.
There's a book by his name slipped my mind. He's a theologian. He has a book called Jesus and the Uninherited, and he talks about how people who do things wickedly and wrong, they will do it so long that it becomes their truth. So we see that right now in America. So you got a person that's at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, that everything he does is counter to what we know is right.
Right.
But you got a whole bunch of other people like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, and these guys, not even America, that uphold what he who he is and what he does. You know why? They benefit from it. And those same guys, they are actually running companies called, one of them, Peter Thiel, Planeteer. Planeteer is a company that is harvesting all your information as you speak, including this podcast. And so when we began to really look at the Curtis Yarvins, the Peter Thiels, the Elon Musk of the world, the Jeffrey Epstein, who really made all his money holding those people's information in a system of blackmail against them for what they were doing to young girls who weren't even old enough to be sexually active. They got companies, they got people in France, Europe, Germany, who are part of this circle, and those countries are starting to prosecute these men.
Yeah, I seen where they had Prince. They done took the Prince off his name.
Yeah, but it's bigger than him.
Wow.
So yeah, he is a moniker. He's just he is one who is a poster child for what's going on.
Bro, Ron, I'm sitting here in real time and I'm processing what you're saying, and I can appreciate it. Really appreciate everything that you said. But in my mind, I keep seeing the word revelation.
Okay, the book of Revelation.
Is because what some of the stuff you're saying and the way the world is, it looks. Are we in a revelational time?
This is what I would say, Smoke. I can't sit here and prophesy that Revelations is coming to pass, because I haven't seen the sky crack. I haven't seen the Messiah come down. Yeshua, I haven't seen him put foot on land and sea. There's many people who don't even believe or have acquiesced to that. But I haven't seen that. So what I have to look at is there is a chance, there is an opportunity right now that's occurring where the Antichrist is running rampant in the earth. This is his territory.
Indeed.
And so when you look at the fact, and then let me correlation. When you look at the fact that when Satan got kicked out of heaven, it said, and his tail was like a train. You know what that train represented? 33% of the angels that fell to the earth with him. How many people that normally has been in Trump's corner consistently? Right now, 67% of America says that he is not what they wanted when they voted. 33% of America still follows him. Now, 33% of heaven got kicked out with Satan when he left the
numbers. The numbers match up.
You hear that? So, when you begin to look at this, and I mean, if I'm talking too much, tell me to be
Oh
quiet.
man,
And
I'm
might.
rolling with you, and like we
Yeah.
here to learn. Like I said, we're gonna get the phone numbers up for the call in. We building an airplane in the air. Again, got Brother Ron there, Brother Dave. Brother Dave, I want to ask you this, and I want to pose this question to you too, Brother Collier. What advice would y'all have for a returning citizen? We working on the vote, but how the things that you do and how can people in the system impact this situation coming home?
For me, I think that you can take advantage of the free education programs and learn this code and all the new stuff that's happening. So that way it puts them ahead of the game. Some programs out there to help you in school, help you get back on. Same thing like with us as veterans. I was looking at that today. And the education opportunities is going to have to be that because as Americans, in the American education system, they didn't prepare us, right? So what I mean by that is a lot of our technology went overseas. And if you look at China, you look at these other areas, they are prospering with the technology, and we're left here without it. Right. So we have to get smarter, right? Technologically. And I think that's a way to do it. Mm-hmm. Because, most people hop into transportation, but that's getting saturated. It's always going to be there. But there's some things now, because the brothers usually concentrated for a while, your mind is working. Right. You know the thing. Right. And if we need something to really that makes your brain, like back in the day, when I graduated from Jackson State, I wanted to go to Ole Miss to study artificial intelligence. Mm-hmm. I didn't, and what stopped me because I didn't have an engineering and math background. However, if I would have did that back in '97, mm-hmm. look where I would be right now as far as AI.
Yeah, but how do we, with things stacked up in such a way, and I'm gonna go back to the question because I would really love to hear what you have to say with this, brother Ron. But we're 1,000 yards behind on a 2-yard day.
Correct.
Across the board.
But see, this is the thing we have to realize. And I'm gonna touch that question you just asked. But for 400 years, we were slaves. Hello. 1619 to 2019. Right. The word declares that after 400 years, you will be set free unless that you were not following the commandments of God, and you will serve 30 more years in bondage.
Right.
So we're working on that other 30 years now because we have become so self-aggrandizing. We want to do the things we want to do. We don't have fellowship anymore. And I ain't talking about even going in a building. I'm talking about people working together in community because, see, community is bigger than neighborhood.
Right.
And until we understand community, and the root word is to commune. The word commune means to work or live or to operate together. Right. We're going to find ourselves coming up short. Now, when it gets down to the brothers in prison that's incarcerated, there has to be a concerted effort to begin to teach them that when you locked up, you have some rights. And they got education programs that you can get in and get educated.
Right.
You don't have to go into the system and gang bang or whatever else you're doing that's not productive. Learn how to read, get a GED, find a trade that you can get. How do I know that? Okay, since you asked, I answer. When I was in Alabama, I ran the largest fatherhood program in the state of Alabama. It still operates and exists to this day.
Come on.
When I got there, they had no one in that program. They could never figure it out. So I took on the mantra of how I hustle. I'm gonna give you some, but what I give you, I want something back for me.
Right.
And so I had young men come in the program, and I said, if you get in the program, I'll pay your mom's rent and utilities. Really? Yeah. So that catapulted into a program that is now 25 or 26 years old. But I started a program in the prison system. Had never been done before. And so what I created in that system was a way that I could get guys out of, when they get ready to be released, if they had old charges, child support, I could get them relaxed because I had created relationships. And see, we have to create relationships with people who can relate to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I had churches, I had other nonprofits that if they went into that county, Mobile County, Montgomery County, I could send ahead and say, this guy's coming home, he gonna need a place to live, or he needs some work that he can do.
Right.
And so I had people who had crafted these programs with me, and this is the crazy, insane part. When I first started, nobody that looked like us wanted to be in the program.
Wow.
When I decided to leave, I had a waiting list, and I had guys begging me at the gate, don't leave. But my season was up. And if the people, now this is the part that was crazy, because when I started the program, it could have kept going. But the people who I worked for who didn't look like me, they didn't want to keep working.
Because it was working.
Yeah. So I got guys right now in the state of Alabama who make 6 figures a year and work 9 months out of the year because they bought into the concept. Now, when I tried to do that here, through my nonprofit, working with felons, I had a meeting in the shipyard in Pascagoula. The meeting went viral. I had 121 felons in my auditorium. The shipyard came to me. I still got the information right now. And they said, for everyone that you get prepared as entry-level welders, we are hiring.
Is that still going on today?
Well, this is what happened. When I needed the funds to get the people to make the program work, and I won't call anyone's name, but I met with some senators here in the state that look like us, that are no longer senators, but they still in politics. Just went to a whole nother place in politics, from state government to city government. He blocked me getting the money. Now, he looked like me. He blocked me from getting the money. I have a pad that was poured at my agency that's still there. The shipyard said, we'll bring up these boxes that they need to use to learn how to weld. You get the welder and you pay the welder to weld them how to stick, TIG, MIG, whatever other welding they do. He said, you bring them to the coast. We'll give them a tour. We'll give them a test. If they pass the test, we'll give them a $3,000 bonus so they can come and have a place to live. Yeah, I had put all this in place. This is the same thing I was doing in Alabama that I brought to Mississippi, but the people who blocked it
would look like
me.
But Ron, this is a interactive prison reform podcast, and it's predicated on more than just talking about the problem or bringing the problem.
So this is how I work on it now.
Answer.
I have we at the agency have a homeless center, and I have a deal with Parchment.
Come on.
And I got people who come from Parchment to Meridian to my homeless center, and I have a agreement worked out with some companies that'll hire them. We have a grant. We transport them and pay for them for the first month. In that program, they have to save 80% of their money. And so once they save that money, then we're able to help them find a place to live. They get that 80% they save, they get it back, and they move into independent living. And we have case managers who try to work with them. The shortcoming is that once those brothers get out, they have been under somebody's thumb for so long that they really don't want to keep having to come to a meeting, although it serves their purpose. Yeah. They disappear. I got some who have come through the program and have done well, and they're still working and still living independently.
Well, Bro, Ron, I would like to, I would like to get some of these, whatever you done dropped, I want to pick up if I can possibly, because you have been, people out there don't know, but you have been an intricate part of me doing what I need to do. You help me get the fight, so it's other guys out there that have the heart, and I'm pretty sure that they would be willing, but they don't have the know-how. I'm still learning about stuff that I need to have in place, but, I can appreciate guys like you that's been doing it for so long and actually have successful programs that work, and I know you had to go through a lot to do it. So this, this show is kind of dedicated to the guys out there that have been incarcerated that need some kind of vision or sight to go.
Yeah.
And you're an exemplary example for that. So.
The program of Phase 2 Adult Reentry in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh yeah,
I started that program.
Sister
Chantel Mathis.
Sister Chantel.
As quiet as kept, I still work with her. I consult with her son, and I don't charge her any money because I know she can't afford me. Mm-hmm. But I know what I can do is help her. That the information and knowledge I drop on her, at some point is going to grab or take hold, mm-hmm. and she is going to be able to move to another level. And I see her moving now. I talked to her about apprenticeship program. She just got approved as an apprenticeship program in the state of Tennessee.
And so, Ron, when they have these 501c3s, okay, and just going back to you, what was your first grant like? What was that? And then how did you establish?
It's been so long ago, man.
How did you establish a relationship? How do you build that? You get that first grant, and how do you build it for future?
I was living in Raleigh, North Carolina, and you can go look it up. The place is still running. It was called Raleigh Housing Fund. It's a 501c3. Mm-hmm. They had houses called Emmaus House based on Luke 24. I think in 18 where Jesus was walking on the road to Emmaus and encountered those two men who didn't know who he was. Mm-hmm. And he blessed them. And so the Emmaus House was a place for homeless working men. How did I become aware of it? Somebody told me about it when I was homeless. I went and got in the program because I was working. I stayed there. I said, okay, Lord, the number of completion is 7. I said, in 7 months, I'm going to be gone. But while I was there, I was not only grinding at Sam's, I was grinding in my mind of how do I move from where I am to where I desire to be. And so I went back to school at North Carolina State. And that's the thing. We have to be willing to reinvent ourselves.
Right.
And so, I talk about people getting certifications. People want to go to college and become doctors and lawyers and Indian chiefs. Mm-hmm. I know a young man who got GEDs is making $200 right now. Work for NASA, work for Toyota, work and so. So my whole thing is kind of you see this like the Jews, the Pharisees, those are the Ethiopian Jews. Every third day they empty their water pot. Why? Because if you keep it in there so long, it's gonna become contaminated. We have to empty our pots out and then fill it with fresh oil.
Come on with it.
And so my whole thing, and I've always taught these young men, is that you can't put some clean and some dirty. And so you got to pour out in order to pour in. Mm-hmm. And so, so do I do a lot of this now at the agency? No, I don't, because they told me I'm the CEO. Mm-hmm. But I still like to give information and knowledge. I got a young man in Meridian right now that I work with. They got one of them has a large nonprofit, and the other one who I just happen because I start talking to people. They don't know who I am because I look like you look. I'm not gonna go out and say this is who I am. I'm just drop at you. I'm gonna talk to you. And the young man now that I'm working with, he is transformed. Now he has property, but he said I still need to learn. I said, well, if you want to learn, I'm willing to teach you.
Exactly.
Because I can't take everything I got. Well, I can't take none of what I got with me when my days are over.
Yeah, you gotta leave that stuff.
But I can leave it here and somebody else can use it.
And that information. So
I think George Clinton said it good in that song Funk Kentucky. He said you have to deprogram to reprogram.
That's
unlearn to learn something new.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to ask you guys one more question actually. For someone that's coming, all the people out there in TV land, all the guys, the returning citizens that might see this is a question for you guys. What would you say to somebody that's been incarcerated, that's a returning citizen? What advice would you give them? And I pose this question to both of you guys.
First of all, I think you got to get you a good circle. And the circle different from the circle that you're in, because you're going to have some support, right? Because things change on the outside faster than they change on the inside, even though they change on the inside faster than they change on the outside sometimes.
In different ways. I can understand.
So I think you got to have that team. That's hard to find too, but you got to have that so you can have that person telling you, "Hey, man, you're more than what you was.
Right.
You're bigger than what you were."
Right.
And I think you start there, and then that's the main thing is that. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And then of course I said reinventing yourself. Let's figure out what it is. But in that circle, like how we are now, we're trying to help you figure out what that remix looks like.
Right. And for me, you guys are like, you have a family, a physical family. And just because they blood, they don't make them family. They just relatives. But on the flip side, you have a spiritual family.
Yes.
Yeah. See?
Yes.
A family that's built for you by God and sent to you at the appointed time.
Yeah, that's true.
And
so for me, Smoke, is always give yourself a break. That's
come
the first
on,
thing.
brother.
Give yourself a break.
Break that down.
Come on with it.
Break it down.
So sometimes we find ourselves in situations, I said precarious situations. We don't know how we got there. We don't know how we're gonna get out, and then we put the pressure on ourselves to try to figure out what we can do before we even know what we did.
And now we don't know what we're doing.
And so I got to give myself a break.
Yeah.
So the key to any situation, when people who have a lot of anxiety, it normally happens because they haven't given themselves a break. They pressing, they thinking that they got to do this, they can't do this, they can't do that. But you got to give yourself a break. Once you give yourself a break, then you got to see how do you build from the break that you gave yourself.
Coming out the huddle.
Yeah, and so what make you say that? Because I had to give myself a break. Man, it's been 40 years ago.
Yeah.
But man, I was rough and ready.
Yeah.
And I had a college education.
You had to give yourself a break from yourself, or
absolutely. You know what I used to say?
Take a break from yourself.
I couldn't take me no more.
Damn. That's real thought provoking, bro.
Yeah.
For real.
The thing about that, to add that's in any situation.
Yeah.
When I was working at WorldCom, I was balling. I was $121,600 a year.
Yeah.
But I got laid off, and I went to zero. And I couldn't get a job at the Mexican restaurant. Like, I really tried to get a job at the Mexican restaurant. They look at the resume and say, "Oh, you ain't gonna stay here long." But I need a job.
Yeah.
My ex-wife now, was pregnant, and I got two.
Right.
I need money. I got child support, $1,000 a month. I need help. So I kept beating myself up, but still trying to grind at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So taking that break for me was luckily DJ Poof, Red from Friday, gave me an opportunity. And I went to Atlanta and started a project, and that was my getaway.
Man,
that was my getaway.
I think that when he say take a break, I think that my break was just staying out of God's business.
Yes.
Yeah, just cause staying completely out of his business, because what I was seeing wouldn't really,
But this thing, Smoke, we don't know what God's business is.
That's
because
right.
He said that my thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways are not your ways.
That's right.
So in saying that, it ain't no way I can know what his business is.
Well,
a lot of times I don't even know what my business is.
Well, a lot of times we'll try. It's like the butterfly effect. If you see a butterfly coming out of a cocoon, it looks like it's struggling and you want to help it. But if you help it, you weaken the wings because it needs that struggle to go through. And that's us getting in God's business, trying to fix this or fix that. You can't fix what God got going on.
I never forget saying I can't take me no more.
Man.
So if I couldn't take me,
I know you ain't finna do that.
Yeah, no, nobody else could take me.
You know me, but I don't even know myself fully, but you know.
I had a man tell me. He said, "What's your problem?" And I danced around. And then finally I told him, I said, I saw this at 9 years old, blah, blah, blah. He said, you was 9. There wasn't nothing you could do about a domestic violence issue. It freed me up. That was the first key that was turned in a cell that opened the door. And so then I had always in the back of my mind, I ain't gonna say too much because it's in the book I'm trying to write, that I'm coming. And I knew I was talking to my dad, but my dad was deceased. So I called my uncle. He took me to my dad's grave. That was a key that unlocked another cell. Cause see, I was down in the Paul and Silas. I was in the innermost parts of the prison. Yeah, I was in the dungeon. Hello. And so so when all the doors were open and I got loose, then now I gotta remake me. I gotta figure out, cause see, my whole thing, just to be transparent, I said I'm gonna be dead by the time I'm 31, because that's when my dad died. And they used to say, you just like your dad. We got kids right now who said they won't live to be 21 years old. You know why? Because they done seen a lot of their friends die.
I was like that. Growing up in L.A., I was like,
yeah. Well, brother, I've enjoyed this show. I would like to continue on, but
are we through?
Fortunately, man, like a dog, man, our time is up. We like to thank everybody. KJ, put that word of the day back up there for the people that's out there in TV land. The word of the day is glib. It's a word that means smooth talker or slick talker. So if someone tells you someone is glib, they're probably trying to warn you, to be careful not to listen to those people. And so, yeah, man, I thank you, brothers, for coming. I really appreciate y'all, man. This has been another episode of Live from the Pen. It's your boy, Smoke D.
Thank
y'all
you,
tune
brother.
in next
Bless
time.
you
Till
all.
next time. Stay up.
Peace.
Peace.